life presents us with the undeniable reality that people come and go. We form bonds, share experiences, and often anchor our emotions to these relationships. But what happens when those connections fade? How do we cope with the emotional weight when someone exits our life, or when we come to realize they were never as invested in the relationship as we were? The questions swirl. How do I stop caring? Can I truly detach emotionally without losing a part of myself? This is where modern psychological principles come into play, offering us practical, actionable insights into emotional detachment. Emotional detachment isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. Rather, it's about reclaiming your power to respond with clarity and inner peace. In this video, we'll explore 10 modern psychological strategies for emotional detachment, transforming how you engage with yourself and others. Rule 1. Acknowledging the reality of change. One of the most fundamental aspects of emotional detachment is understanding the reality of change. Change is an integral part of life. Relationships can shift or dissolve, often unexpectedly. Recognizing this impermanence can serve as a powerful catalyst for emotional detachment. Imagine standing on a beach, holding a handful of sand. The tighter you grip, the quicker it slips through your fingers. The same principle applies to relationships. When we cling too tightly, whether out of fear or attachment, we often end up pushing people away. By accepting that nothing is permanent, we can learn to appreciate the present moment without fearing its end. In my personal experience, I had a friendship that spanned over a decade. We shared everything, from dreams to fears to late-night conversations. But as life progressed, our paths diverged. The emotional investment I had made felt like a chain, binding me to someone who no longer reciprocated my feelings. It wasn't until I embraced the reality that friendships can change that I could finally release that emotional weight. Rule 2. Understanding your emotions through cognitive restructuring. Many people believe that emotions control them. When you feel pain, sadness, or anger, those reactions seem natural, especially when you're emotionally attached to someone. However, here's the hard truth. Emotions are not reality. They are shaped by your thoughts, beliefs, and interpretations of events. The key to emotional detachment lies in cognitive restructuring, a psychological technique that involves challenging and changing unhelpful thoughts. When you find yourself spiraling into negative emotions after a breakup or conflict, pause and ask yourself, what are the facts here? How can I perceive this situation differently? Let's say you're going through a breakup. You might replay conversations over and over, asking why it happened or how they could move on so easily. Instead, try to focus on the facts. Yes, the relationship ended, but that doesn't define your worth. By shifting your focus from emotions to rational thoughts, you free yourself from the emotional turmoil that often accompanies heartbreak. I recall a time when I sent a heartfelt message to a close friend. Hours passed without a response. My mind began to race. Did I say something wrong? Are they upset with me? By the end of the night, I had convinced myself that our friendship was on the verge of collapse. But when I reached out the next day, it turned out they had simply been busy. This experience taught me that my emotional reactions were largely based on my interpretations, not the reality of the situation. Rule 3. Embracing mindfulness and present awareness. Mindfulness is an invaluable tool for emotional detachment. It encourages us to live in the present moment, fully experiencing our thoughts and feelings without judgment. When we practice mindfulness, we become more aware of our emotional responses and can observe them without becoming entangled in them. Consider a situation where you feel anger bubbling up during a disagreement. Instead of reacting impulsively, take a moment to breathe and observe the feeling. What is it telling you? Is it rooted in the current situation, or does it stem from past experiences? By recognizing and acknowledging your emotions without immediately acting on them, you create space for healthier responses. In my own journey, I've found that daily mindfulness practices, such as meditation or even mindful walking, help me remain grounded. This awareness allows me to detach from overwhelming emotions and respond to situations with clarity and intention. Rule 4. Practicing negative visualization. At first glance, the idea of negative visualization might seem counterproductive. Why would anyone want to deliberately imagine losing someone they care about? Doesn't that just add unnecessary stress? The truth is, this psychological technique can serve as one of the most powerful tools for emotional detachment. Negative visualization involves mentally preparing for loss. By imagining the worst-case scenario, you can lessen its emotional impact when or if it actually occurs. This doesn't mean adopting a pessimistic outlook. Rather, it's about training your mind to accept reality as it is. Picture someone you're deeply attached to. Now, visualize your life without them. How does it feel? Uncomfortable? Painful? That discomfort is precisely the point. By facing the emotional weight of potential loss, you reduce its power over you in reality. I remember when a close friend considered moving overseas. The thought of losing our daily interactions filled me with dread. But rather than suppressing that fear, I embraced it. I imagined what my life would look like without them. I pictured myself engaging in new routines and finding joy in different experiences. When the time came for them to move, I was more prepared for the emotional challenges than I ever thought possible. Rule 5. Focusing on what you can control. One of the core teachings in psychology is the importance of focusing on what you can control. Often, we become emotionally entangled in situations that are beyond our influence, leading to frustration and despair. By shifting our focus to what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and responses, we regain our power. When faced with a challenging relationship, ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? Typically, the answer revolves around your reactions and mindset. You cannot control how others feel or behave, but you can control how you respond to them. This realization is liberating. For example, if someone you care about suddenly stops communicating, recognize that you can't control their actions. Instead, focus on your own feelings and how you choose to respond. Perhaps you decide to reach out for clarity or, alternatively, to take a step back for your own emotional well-being. In my experience, this shift in focus has been transformative. I once found myself in a situation where a close friend became distant. Instead of obsessively analyzing their behavior, I chose to focus on my own feelings and how I could nurture my emotional health. This decision allowed me to detach from the anxiety surrounding the friendship and move forward with clarity. Rule 6. Building resilience through acceptance. Acceptance is a cornerstone of emotional detachment. Life is filled with ups and downs, and learning to accept this reality can significantly enhance your emotional resilience. Acceptance doesn't mean you condone negative behaviors or resign yourself to a situation. Rather, it means acknowledging the reality of your circumstances without judgment. As you practice acceptance, you'll find that it becomes easier to let go of the emotional weight associated with relationships. You begin to understand that while you may not always get what you want, you can still find peace within yourself. I had a relationship that was filled with highs and lows. The fear of losing that person consumed me. When I began to practice acceptance, I realized that I could appreciate the good moments while also recognizing that they might not last forever. This mindset shift allowed me to enjoy our time together without the constant anxiety of what might happen next. Rule 7. Enhancing self-compassion. Self-compassion is a vital principle in emotional detachment. Often, we are our own harshest critics, especially when it comes to relationships. Practicing self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend. When you're faced with emotional pain, instead of berating yourself for feeling hurt or lost, acknowledge your feelings without judgment. Validate your experiences and remind yourself that it's okay to feel what you're feeling. This self-compassion creates a buffer against the negativity that can arise from emotional attachment. During challenging times, I found it helpful to speak to myself as I would to a friend. If I'm feeling low after a breakup, I remind myself that it's natural to grieve and that healing takes time. This gentle approach allows me to detach from the pain without becoming overwhelmed by it. Rule 8. Cultivating a support network. No one should navigate emotional challenges alone. Cultivating a support network of friends, family, or even a therapist can provide invaluable assistance in your journey toward emotional detachment. This support system can help you gain perspective, offer encouragement, and remind you of your worth. When you share your feelings with trusted individuals, you create an environment where vulnerability is celebrated. This connection can alleviate the burden of emotional pain, reminding you that you are not alone in your experiences. In my life, I've leaned on friends during times of emotional turmoil. Their perspectives helped me see situations more clearly and provided comfort when I needed it most. By surrounding myself with supportive people, I created a safety net that allowed me to navigate the ups and downs of relationships with greater ease. Rule 9. The power of journaling. Journaling is a powerful tool for emotional detachment. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can help you process your emotions and gain clarity. It provides an outlet for your feelings while allowing you to reflect on your experiences. When you journal, you can explore your emotions without judgment. You might write about a recent breakup, detailing your feelings of sadness, anger, or confusion. By putting these thoughts on paper, you create distance from the emotions, making it easier to analyze and understand them. In my own practice, journaling has been transformative. When I'm grappling with complex emotions, I set aside time to write. This act of expression helps me untangle my thoughts and feelings, ultimately leading to insights that facilitate emotional detachment. Rule 10. Embracing emotional freedom. Emotional detachment is not about becoming indifferent. Rather, it's a journey toward emotional freedom. By embracing modern psychological principles, we can navigate the complexities of relationships with greater clarity and resilience. Life will always bring change, but by understanding the reality of impermanence, practicing mindfulness, and cultivating self-compassion, we can equip ourselves to handle emotional challenges with grace. Remember, it's about regaining control over your emotional landscape and fostering healthier connections with yourself and others. As you embark on this journey of emotional detachment, keep these principles in mind. They're not just theoretical ideas, but practical tools that can reshape your emotional experiences. So, take a deep breath, step into your power, and embrace the freedom that comes with emotional detachment. You have the ability to create a life filled with clarity, peace, and fulfilling connections. Well, dear viewers, there you have them. The 10 modern psychological rules to detach from someone. Which ones did you like? What did you like about them? Share us your thoughts in the comment section. We hope you've enjoyed our today's content. If you do, please consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't already, and also smash that notification bell so that you will be the first one to be notified when we upload new videos. It takes a lot of time and effort to make these videos. Your subscriptions, likes, and shares are what inspire us to create more content. Therefore, please consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't already. And finally, thank you for watching until the end. We look forward to seeing you in our next video. Until then, stay safe and stay blessed.